This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Amazon.com. Thanks, guys, for all of your support on Amazon. We really appreciate it. We've just made something very, very much easier for you to support us on Amazon. If you go to extremehealthradio.com, and on the right-hand side of our website, you'll see an image for supporting us on Amazon. And below that image, there's some blue text that if you drag that text, if you click and hold down and drag that text to your desktop, that will create an icon. And then if you use that icon every single time you make an Amazon purchase, that will go through our link. And that would be awesome because that way you don't have to remember to go to Extreme Health Radio every time you want to make an Amazon purchase. And that is a super, super way to support the show. We really appreciate it. You guys have been just going crazy on Amazon, and we really appreciate it so much. We're also brought to you by Soul CBD oils. If you guys are unfamiliar with CBD, CBD is an amazing, amazing, amazing substance, and I believe it's the most powerful plant on the planet. I really, really like the Soul CBD from our friends over at Be Well Buzz, Larry Ostrowski and his wife. I think they're doing great and amazing things. We got the chance to meet up with them in person a few months back. They're great people, and they have a team of scientists actually working behind the scenes to extract these medicinally powerful strains of CBD, and they don't contain any of the THC, so it doesn't make you high. And I'm not sure, there's some debate upon whether or not the DEA is going to make CBD a class 1 drug. So make sure to pick some up before it goes away or before they're unable to sell it anymore. So check out the Soul CBD. I think it's the most powerful CBD supplement on the market. Super, super cool stuff. That's available in our store. So if you would like to support the show, just go to extremehealthradio.com/502, and there'll be a link there in the sponsors for Soul CBD. Well, welcome to another episode, actually episode 502 of Extreme Health Radio. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about cleansing and detoxification and why it's so darn important to make sure that you have more going out every day than you have coming in. So we're going to be talking with Dr. Darrell Wolfe, who's been at this for about 35 years, helping people to cleanse and detoxify their body, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and everything in between. So we're going to be bringing him on in just a second. But I want to tell you guys really quickly, I brought up this infographic, which I'll link to on this show page, and it's from Collective Evolution. And they talked about the amount of chemicals that we're exposed to on a daily basis. Let's see, in North America, it says 35,000 plus up to 70,000 different chemicals on a daily basis. That's crazy. The amount of new synthesized chemicals in the cosmetic industry is 5,000. 500 pesticides. In the food, it's 3,200. In consumer goods, it's 1,050. And 2,000 each year just in the United States. And the effects on humans of all of these chemicals are completely untested. And the results of 9 people that they found were tested came up with these different stats. Check this out. 91 chemicals and pollutants found just in their urine and blood. 94 toxic to the brain and nervous system. 79 of these chemicals cause birth defects, and 76 cause cancer. And they can be inhaled, they can be swallowed, they can be absorbed through the skin, like through your water at home that contains fluoride and chlorine and all these things. But DDT can remain in your body for up to 50 years. 50 years for DDT. Isn't that crazy? So the average person, it says here, is estimated to contain over 7,000 contaminants. Crazy, right? So let me just read a couple more stats for you here if you're not really concerned about these types of chemicals. Let's see, in the cosmetic industries, cosmetics are rarely tested by the FDA. Instead, the CFTA, Cosmetic Toiletry and Fragrance Association, tests some of the potentially toxic chemicals. They say some. Of 7,500 potentially toxic chemicals, the CFTA tested 24. 24 out of 7,500. That was in the year 2004. And in terms of food coloring and food, blue number 1 and number 2, citrus red and red number 2, green 3, red number 3, and the most widely used is red number 40, are all known to contribute to various cancers. Isn't that fun? Found in almost every processed food. And get this about plastics. Most heated plastics as well as pliable plastic contain carcinogens. So think twice about putting plastic in your microwave, or think twice about using a microwave at all. And finally, last but not least, receipts. You know those little receipts you get at the grocery store? 10 seconds of touching a receipt or quickly crumbling the paper up releases, I'm not sure how you say this, obesogens into your body, enough receipts, and you're much likelier to be overweight. So the good thing is that most of these things are avoidable, and we're going to be talking with Dr. Darrell Wolfe today. If you're unfamiliar with him, his website is called docofdetox.com, and he has 35 years of experience in natural medicine, and he has his best-selling ebook, Healthy. Actually, it's a best-selling book you can get on Amazon, but we will link it up on this show page, extremehealthradio.com/502, Healthy to 100. So you can actually go to our website, and then you can download the ebook version of that. And his clinic and retreat is based in BC of Canada, where he holds, or he teaches, he has retreats, consults patients locally and globally, and he was presented with the Order of Excellence Award by the World Organization of Natural Medicine. Needless to say, he's been at this for about 35 years, a guy doing some great work. So let's bring him on. Let me turn his mic up. Thanks so much, Doc, for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me, Justin. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Like I said, I found you through Robert Scott Bell as well as our mutual friend Ty Bollinger, and you're doing some great work with those two guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they're a great team to work with. Ty's actually releasing The Truth About Detox on probably February the 1st, and I'm also in that documentary as well.
Oh, wow. Truth About Detox. That's awesome. And he's doing one on vaccines, and you've worked with him on the one with cancer, I think, too, right?
Yeah, all three of them, all three series, yeah.
That's so cool. And just perusing your website and listening to you on the Robert Scott Bell Show, you're up to some really cool things. And you've been doing this for about 35 years, you said?
Yeah, 35 years. I've been not hard at it, just loving it. I shouldn't have said that, but doing my research and, I'm really passionate about this because, when you really look at things statistically, there's very few people on this planet that actually are enjoying themselves. And it really comes down to that. It really comes down to the joy. I say, if you can get away with poisoning yourself and still enjoy yourself and not be in pain all the time, then kudos to you. But everything is about joy, Justin. Everything is about love, and it's about learning how to self-love and embrace ourselves. You can talk to anybody in your family and all your friends, Justin, and they love with all their hearts, but I guarantee you that it'll be very difficult to find someone that actually embraces or even thinks about loving themselves. And that's really where I've come to. We all come to different crossroads through the years of learning and teaching and training and researching, but that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, it's a really interesting idea, because we could learn until we're blue in the face about why we should do liver cleanses or colon cleanses or the daily detox that you talk about. We could learn about all the chemicals we're exposed to, but there's something within one person that causes them to make a decision to start doing something about it, whereas with somebody else, they choose not to. And I think what it comes down to is that self-love component you're talking about, because if you really love yourself and you really want to be on the planet and want to invest in yourself, our culture teaches us not to do that. Our culture just teaches 100% sacrifice and give up everything. It's just an interesting way of looking at it.
Well, society's foundational systems are sick. We know that. So, we can't compare ourselves or use that as some kind of a ruler. What we have to do is look at our belief systems. I mean, if your belief systems were healthy, then you would be healthy. And it's the dysfunctional belief systems. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you've got constipation to cancer, depression, what your situation is. It's your belief systems. And you have to go back to your belief systems. I mean, one person makes a choice different from another person is because of their belief systems. And why does one person say, I don't really give a crap. I'm going to eat toxic food and I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, it's not because they love the food. It's just they're honoring their belief systems. Your subconscious will not allow you to do anything else except honor your belief systems. And whether your belief systems are killing you or they're going to cure you, your subconscious doesn't give a crap. It doesn't care because it's the dumbest part of you or the smartest part of you, depending on the program you're running.
Mm-hmm. So the subconscious just wants to do whatever it wants to do. And so how do we tap into that to get to the point where we have that desire to say, you know what, you know how some people just say, I'm fat, I'm 5-10 pounds overweight, I can't live with myself anymore, and they decide to do something about it. That decision making ultimately stems from the subconscious?
Absolutely. And just understand something. We can't live without our subconscious. Our subconscious creates even the healthy fear. I mean, there's a healthy fear that we're not going to do a triple backflip off a 120-foot cliff and not look to see if the water's 4 feet deep.
Right.
So we do need that part of the fear. But the thing is that our society uses fear to get us to purchase things and do stupid things. Uh-huh. So, and if you immerse yourself in society. Otherwise, if you listen to your family and your friends, if you turn on the radio, listen to the TV, you socialize. And definitely if you go to a bar or and you drink and you socialize at parties, most of that is all just BS, dysfunctional belief system talk, right? Uh-huh. We all know that. So you have to understand that when somebody wants to help you and they want to give you information, where did they get their information from? So that's really the thing. And when you go to a doctor or you pick friends, you should pick healthy friends. You should pick friends that are striving to become the best they can be. I mean, you know, that was the one thing that I tried to teach my children is that if you don't hang around with healthy friends, then your life is going to run amok. So, you know, that's just the way it is. You know, birds of a feather flock together. And like I was saying, you know, our subconscious is a very important part of us because it houses the most important beliefs. But the problem is nobody's taught to review their beliefs and see which ones are worn out and dysfunctional. And you got to understand something. You know, Justin, take a look today around you and you're going to see that adult children that could be even 60 years old and 70 years old are still honoring their parents and dishonoring themselves because they learned dysfunctional beliefs, or they still to this day believe they're not worthy, or you'll always be fat, or nobody will love you, or no one cares for you. Mm-hmm. You know, but everybody is crippled, buddy. I'm going to tell you, I did a Facebook posting that I took down and I put it up and I tried to put it up and I tried to, you know, all it said is the fatter you become, okay, mm-hmm. the more that your brain shrinks, and it does.
Oh, you know, I think I saw that. Was that somewhat recently, right?
Yeah. Well, I had to pull it down because people called me a racist. Because see, mine is I only want to empower people. We do shock and awe, but you know, the thing is that we are so handicapped. I don't know how to say it. If I would have said the bigger you get, you know, the smaller your brain gets. Yeah. And they'd say, oh, yeah, what about a football player? Yeah. But no, it's the fatter that we become, you know, our brain actually does shrink and our cognitive skills deteriorate. Well, I had to pull that thing down, Justin, because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not out there to create damage to people that are already damaged from their belief systems. Right. I was thinking that people would read that and go, wow, okay, I understand now what's going on.
Now, did they read it? What?
And I would really want to think clearer, be sharper, you know, and live a healthier life. So maybe I should lose the weight.
Now, did they read it and you said they mostly just became offended at the words?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So, you know, the whole thing about being politically correct, right? Uh-huh. Like, honestly, buddy, I love everybody. I don't want to hang out with everybody, but I love everybody. We're not out to try to pick people apart or demean anyone, you know. And just like there's over 1,000 different religions, you know. The big thing is that we need to get people to have faith in themselves again, to have faith, because without faith, we haven't got certainty. So I realized that I just really need to watch how I word things, because at the end of the day, I really don't want to. I want to support people in a way that they go, oh wow. And they might be shocked, but I don't want them disturbed because of me. That's all.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, the idea of detoxification in general, because I'm not sure for me in my life which one has been more powerful, the actual physical detoxification of doing certain cleanses and things, or what I like to call, mental detoxification, which is unplugging yourself from mainstream media and the news and negative people and negative programming. I have to say, for me, both have been incredibly powerful for me. And I think I don't know, what do you think is more important of those two?
I don't think that you can put one ahead of the other. I think that they go hand in hand. We are mainly spirit. You can't see it, but we are. I mean, some people will call it aura. Your body lives within your spirit. Both of those things need to be nurtured and detoxified. But I think what comes down to the real crux is that even the health industry have really messed this up as well. I mean, they've taught us that to dishonor ourselves even when it comes to cleanses. I mean, how many people do you know? Well, I like to cleanse every 6 months. Well, that's because it takes that person 6 months to pile up enough toxic crap in their body that they feel so bad. And then they go and do a deep cleanse and release all these toxins. And actually, you can turn cancer on and you can turn disease on by detoxifying too fast. I mean, if people only did gentle baby steps in cleansing, okay, and which means just honoring yourself, self-care, self-love, self-respect. That's all. And doing that daily, you would never have to do a deep cleanse. Why in the world would anybody pile up their toxic waste or poop inside themselves? Why do you think everybody's bellies are hanging out? I mean, that's your core. I mean, right. Listen to me. Right now, the majority of the population has a belly. Am I right or wrong? Tell me, Justin. Am I right or wrong?
Gosh, you'd have to say a high percentage of them.
How about in some areas 60%, in some areas as high as 88%?
Wow.
So that means that the majority rules. So that means that the average health of a person means that you might look anywhere from 3 months to 6 months pregnant, and nobody's going to give it a second thought anymore. Meanwhile, your core, which is your abdominal area, is what? It's home 75%, 80% of your immune system. So everybody's immune system is falling down and out, and it's normal. So we never compare ourselves to the average person, because if you compare yourself to the average person, you really don't have to do a lot, and you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, that's one of the main issues. Doc, it sounds like your microphone changed a little bit right there. It looks like sounds like you got pulled away from the mic a little bit right there. But yeah, I find it interesting, this idea of detoxification. And I really like what you're saying when I was listening to a lot of your shows on Robert Scott Bell, or a lot of your talks with him. This whole idea of doing a daily detox, and you talk a lot about that. And I think I don't know what it is about our culture, but we want to just sort of, like you just said, live this sort of bizarre, toxic lifestyle. And then every now and then do a cleanse. It's sort of like someone letting their house get really, really messy, and then, once every 3 months they do a deep clean. I've never really understood that. I'd rather do a gentle cleanse, something that's not so drastic on the body, and just do it daily, because if nothing else, it teaches you the art of self-care and self-love on a daily basis.
Well, actually, all of that is just a reflection of their relationships. Yeah, if a person takes a look at their relationships, they'll see that they're having the same argument with their loved ones for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Mm-hmm. And that's because people still, it comes back to belief systems. I mean, a person detoxes every 6 months because their belief system says do it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I question everything about myself. You know what, Justin? If we were to actually question ourselves first before others, and you know, the other thing is now this might even confuse people out there. Okay, so when I process everything through my heart and then up through the right side of my brain and I focus on doing that all the time. It's part of my courses that I teach, because the right side of your brain is the creative side, which is the lion side. The left side of your brain is actually the ox side, and they both look different. And the ox side is where you put your harness on, you're a hard worker and you plow the field. Well, yeah, we got to work hard, but if we're not going to be creative and use our creative ability, then we will never resculpture our lives and get rid of the worn out things that are happening. So that's really the big issue that's going on out there. And again, we come back to the pain and suffering that people have and the choices that they make is just a reflection of their belief system and their relationship with themselves. Justin, unless and I tell this to people, and people give me a second look all the time, but unless you love yourself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else, then you will always have a problem. And that even goes for your wife and your children, because people say, what are you talking about? You're going to love yourself more than your children and your wife. And I go, well, you know what? The thing is this, I will never end up hurting them. You'll always end up hurting the people you love if you're using them to fill your heart, to fill your love tank. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So now with someone who is listening to this and thinking like, okay, he's saying to love himself, and that's a concept that we all need to get better at. But, you know, a lot of people, like you said, were dealt a really bizarre hand in life. Maybe they were abused, and maybe they have all these psychological issues. And all I can say for me is I had a great childhood. I didn't have any of that. So I guess maybe it's easy for me to invest in self-care every day, but I don't consciously think of the idea of, I need to love myself every day. I think what happens for me is that I take action every day. So I'll do my skin brushing, I'll do my rebounding, or I do my sauna, and I'll do all these things every day. And I think the continual action on those things allows, at least for me, the ability to have some sort of self-esteem. Like I did these things today for myself, even if I didn't feel like them, or even if I didn't want to. And then the continual buildup of making these actions or taking these actions every day, that I think allows me to think of myself as someone who deserves to have that. And maybe it allows me to love myself. So it's maybe the actions before the feelings, at least for me. But some people have a really messed up childhood, so it's really difficult for them to love themselves.
Well, I understand that, and those people are going to be lost in the cracks mm-hmm. of society for most of their life or all their life, mm-hmm. unless they do. And please don't get this wrong, but unless they do something like I have 2 courses. One's called Braveheart, and it's an online training course. And I will tell you that if they go through this course, they're not staying there. It's impossible, because the only thing that we've got to get the subconscious to understand is that there's a new program where I'm allowed to love myself now. And we've got to get the subconscious to actually accept that. And the only way that we can do it is through repetition. And the only people are going to do things through repetition if they're simple and they're fun and they can do them daily mm-hmm. and build them into their lifestyle without it being a deep cleanse.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that. Yeah, too. And I think also when you start, at least for me, when you start doing these actions every day, like you're talking about, I want to ask you more about the Braveheart thing, because that looks really cool. And I've heard you talk about that before. If they're simple and they're fun and you're able to do them in a short amount of time, it's kind of like, if you go for a run, this time of year in early January of every year, the gyms are filled with people. People are trying to get on their New Year's resolutions that typically only last for about 3 weeks. But when you stick with something and you force yourself to do something that you necessarily don't need or don't like to do in the moment, it gives you a sense of satisfaction. And I think that at least for me, like I said, love for myself comes from that, because I start developing this idea that I need to take care of myself for my family. I need to take care of myself for people around me. And so, like you said, if it's fun and easy and it helps someone develop a self-esteem, I mean, look at the sense of accomplishment someone could get from graduating college or going through the Boy Scouts or any number of things like that that they push through and they do every day. I mean, I think I don't know. I think there's something to that, especially if you make it easy, like in your program.
Yeah, but Justin, for you don't even consciously think about it, because guess what? Your subconscious already has accepted that, okay, we've got to accept the program that he loves himself, because consciously he keeps on doing it, and he's done it enough that, once you 100% accept a new belief, your subconscious has no power. It has to come along for the ride. Uh-huh. It's like this. Knowledge is just a rumor until that knowledge flows through your body and lives there. So knowledge is only a rumor. Like when people, they'll go and they'll read a book, or they'll go and they'll go to a lecture, or they'll do some kind of course, but unless it takes action and it's simple and it's fun and they integrate it into their lifestyle for at least 30 to 33 days, because it takes 30 to 33 days to get your subconscious to even take a look at a new belief and say, yes, I'm willing to look at that, because he keeps on doing it and he's done it so much and it hasn't killed him. So your subconscious, it doesn't say, oh my God, there's a new belief here and it's better than the one we got. Guys, let's take that in. Let's embrace it. It doesn't do that.
Doesn't do it.
It says, look at this belief that you already have, Darrell, hasn't killed you yet. Yes, you're in pain and suffering, but you're not dead. And this new one, I'm not sure what it is, because your subconscious is not intelligent. It says, I don't know what it is, and I'm not allowing it until I've seen that you've done it hundreds of times, mm-hmm. and then we will have to embrace it, because that's the rule of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's fascinating when I heard you say 30 to 33 days, and people have different numbers, but they're always numbers that are similar or quite close to that. And I think it's so bizarre that it takes, I mean, you look at what the brain and the conscious mind is able to take in a minute by minute basis, a second by second basis, the amount of data that it's allowed to, that it can process in such a small amount of time. And it still takes 30 to 33 days, which is really weird to me, because that just shows me the level of programming that occurs on us in order for us to be able to get into some new thought pattern for 33 days. That just shows that we're programmed.
Well, there's two sides to that, though, Justin. You're right. I mean, you can't go anywhere and not be programmed. Yeah. I mean, the life I live, people, they don't understand it. Like the life I live, they don't understand it until they start to embrace it, because society's always trying to get a piece of you. It's always trying to own you. Mm-hmm. But here's the other one too, though, Justin, that we need to know. If we were able to make changes in our life in a New York second, mm-hmm. what would happen the next time you piss me off and I wish you were dead?
That wouldn't be too good.
Okay, so there we go. Okay, all right.
Yeah. I guess it's good to have that buffer, but it's just amazing to me that the level of programming that we all have, and we tend to not think that we're programmed. We think, oh, everybody else is programmed, but these belief systems that we carry with us, whether they be good or bad, most likely never originated with us.
Well, first of all, let me just say this, that I have severe addictions. One of them being that I do love myself and I love sharing that with people. Mm-hmm. And I'm addicted to having the best day of my life every day. I'm addicted to no matter what the trauma is, and I mean no matter what the trauma is, I will keep my shoulders back, my chin up. I will stay in my breath, mm-hmm. And I will breathe through it, and I will go, okay, so how do I take positive action, and how do I honor myself? Take a look at, you know what? we know, okay, nobody can be sad, mad, or depressed unless they condone it and work on it. When somebody gets depressed, they round their shoulders, they tip their head, they have shallow breathing, and then they give this really twisted look on their face, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, if you didn't round your shoulders and didn't tip your head and you didn't do the twisted look and you didn't get into the shallow breathing, you couldn't get depressed. So just understand that we need to buy into the actual emotion, and then we have to do all these physical changes and contort our body to create that low vibration. So just even being aware of that. So, and doing that is just honoring whatever belief system you're having. So my belief system is that, I deserve to be happy and joyful and have tons of energy. So my subconscious is always protecting my life and keeping me in the zone, in that zone where if somebody was raised to believe that they're not worthy, that, you know, they're ugly, they're fat, you know, you're dumb. And a person can, at that one moment when that person was feeling weak, they took in that you're stupid. And they took that stupid in, and they don't even remember the time that it was even told to them, but they played it over and over again when they went to bed that night, 3 or 4 hours. Mm-hmm. And then the subconscious accepted that they are stupid, and then they've never looked at that again. And now that happened when they were 6, and now they're 60 and they're still stupid. Mm-hmm. But they're not stupid. It's the program that they decided to run. And when we were created by our creator, we came down here to create. And we can have absolutely anything we want, Justin. And you can be anything you want. You could stop doing this radio show and go out and learn how to do massage, or go back to school and be a doctor, or you could just walk out of the house one day and never return to your home again. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? We have choices.
Mm-hmm. How much, Doc, do you think the physiology of our bodies it's like the chicken or the egg? Do you think that the physiology of the body, like you're talking about someone who's depressed sort of hangs their head low and breathes really shallow, do you think that holds in predetermined subconscious limiting beliefs, or do you think that they can bring on those belief systems?
Well, everybody runs a pain body, Justin. So you've got people in your family that need to have a little bit of a drama 3 times a day. Then you've got people that go along for 3 weeks, and then every 3 weeks for 5 days, they go into a total depression, or they set somebody up in the family that, oh, you did this to me, so that they can go off and keep playing their program. Uh-huh. You know what? We're robotic. These programs are robotic. So once you start and you really start believing and you understand this, then there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide for your subconscious. And then when you understand that you are the true architect and you can resculpture your whole life, and that's what people will get. And after 30 to 33 days, and I use that number, after 30 to 33 days, I don't care. People know. They go, you know what? I'm not there yet, but guess what? I actually understand that I am the one. Mm-hmm. I am the one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to have that belief system. I mean, just us being here is 400 million to 1 chance that we would even be a human, that we made it, that, you know, we became a human, 400 million to 1. I mean, it's just having some gratitude about the fact that we're even here, I think is an amazing thing too. Adding gratitude on top of, our belief systems. Are you familiar with speaking of, like we're talking about just before, of using the body or having the body be an example of belief systems? Are you familiar with the dynamic meditation people are doing these days?
No. Can you explain it?
Yeah, it's something I've just been learning about recently. And if you look it up on YouTube, you can find people talking about it and doing it. But it's a way of sort of orchestrating, using your body in a way that allows you to determine the types of emotions you want to feel and the types of belief systems you want to have. And it's a pretty intense thing, but it allows, it's basically using your body to release, stuck energies and things like that by completely doing these dynamic movement meditations where you'd almost have to do it in a room where no one could hear you or see you, because it's really kind of allowing your body to express itself to the fullest extent it wants. But it's allowing people to choose the emotional state that they want to be in, rather than sort of being reactionary to everything, and which is kind of how most people are.
I think that's great, because most people are unconscious about their body, because take a look at it. What do they do to it? They don't look after it. They don't honor it. That most people don't honor their body. You know, when I say this, I meet nice people every day, but do I probably meet somebody who's awake maybe once every 6 months? Mm. Do you understand what I'm talking about here?
Yeah,
awake,
it's crazy.
Like really awake. Like yesterday, I went to the hospital to see a cancer patient of mine, and there was a gentleman standing there, and he was visiting the patient too. And this person was awake. I just the whole energy system of this person.
Wow.
So you know, it's I don't know what to say. It's you just don't find a lot of people awake, but you know what? When you look at it, it's only logical. It's only normal. I mean, if you take a look at, and I don't want to get into the controversial part of this, but you know, back in the 80s, there was about 86 families that actually controlled 99% of the wealth. There's only 66 today that control 99% of the wealth on the planet. So you have to understand that those families, there's 8 corporations that control 92% of all the media on the planet. Mm-hmm. So you have to understand that everything is a lie. Mm-hmm. All information is a lie. You know, when I talk to people, I honor them, but I just know that they're lying to me. Mm-hmm. Okay, I know that they're 99% of the time a person's lying, because we're all perpetuating the lie unless we get to really honor, love, and go within inside ourselves and create our own belief systems and create the amazing beings that we were actually meant to be. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And on this show, and you have your show and you're on Robert Scott Bell's show. There's a lot of people that come on and give differing opinions about different things. And one of the things that we encourage everyone to do, because it's something that I've had to do, is just say simply, you know what, every guest that comes on to our show, or any guest that you hear talking on somebody else's show, and there's tons of great radio shows out there on alternative health. They're just offering an opinion. And what we really need to do is go deep within ourselves and find out what the truth is going to be for us. And in the same way that when you watch, corporate media and quote news on TV, you have a filter on, because most people are now really questioning, the mainstream media. But the same holds true with listening to anything, really. Anything I say, anything you say, people need to find out what's true for them.
And the one thing is that if I can say this to everyone, and please try to take this in, the next time that something happens in your life, or somebody says something and your alarm systems go off, just stay in your breath and relax. And just know that your belief system might be stopping something very important from coming in. We create such walls and blocks for ourselves, and we dig our heels in. And we just need to know that it's like this. Look at your life. Look at how much pain you're suffering emotionally and physically, and that will give you an evaluation whether or not your belief systems are destructive or creative. That's it. And that's really what it comes down to. And you know what? Take gentle baby steps. The whole thing is society always wants you to do okay, it's the first of the year, so I'm going to do this heavy duty diet and cleanse. And you set yourself up for failure. Well, that's your subconscious also trying to protect you, so it gets you to do too much too fast, because it doesn't want you to make any changes, because the belief systems you have are keeping you alive. Even though you're in pain and suffering, you're still alive, Darrell. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting that your subconscious would almost self-sabotage by putting too much of a goal on your plate, right? And then you you know you're not going to be able to achieve it, so you, I guess you fall in line with that subconscious belief system of how you really view yourself as a failure or anything else.
Well, take a look at a lot of people's relationships. They work the same way. You know, a person may love someone, but they keep on sabotaging them. You know, like a person, you get a couple and it's usually the wife, okay, or the female part that wants to grow, because, you know, the men, you know, they burp and fart, where the women, she's like a fine tuning fork, like the canary in a cave, and she feels it all.
Yeah.
You know, and she goes, well, honey, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and he goes, oh, go ahead, hon. So she goes off and does it. I'm behind you on this. And then she starts to become a little bit more enlightened, starts losing weight. And then he goes into fear mode, and then he starts to sabotage. You have to watch out for your family and your friends. They will be behind you until they feel like you're leaving them behind. And once they feel you're leaving them behind, then they'll cut the legs from under you.
Yeah,
a lot intentionally.
It's weird how a lot of people support one another until big changes start happening for them, either good or bad, and then they just kind of ditch them along the road. And I think maybe it's
threaten my belief systems, Justin.
Yeah, it's a threat to their belief system, isn't it?
That's it, not to the love that they have for them. So we got to make sure that we're not getting the two confused, and that's the problem. You know, like I have people that, and please, when I say this, but we have people that come from all over the world that come for our couples training, emotionally and physically, so that we teach them how to redesign their relationship. And what I tell people is that we want to redesign it, that you're not husband and wife anymore, that you're spiritual beings, that you come together to enlighten each other and to support each other's learning and training. And of course, they're still married. But the thing is that we've got to get away from that old husband and wife thing, because when you take away the bodies, you're left with the spirit. So if we can get them, you know, into a different feeling about things, and that you know what do most relationships do after 5 years or even sooner? They start to henpeck. They love each other dearly, but they henpeck each other. And that is not where we want to be. We want to be where we are always in forgiveness. We don't even have to forgive each other anymore. We already know that when we come down here, that we can't remember ever being here, and that we're all doing our best. You know, I'm going to make 100 mistakes today, but I'm already forgiven. I've forgiven myself. And if somebody else doesn't want to forgive me, right, for the mistakes that I may make today, that's their business. That's not my business. You know, as long as I'm processing through my heart, and I will never be intentionally hurting anyone. But even in this society, you're going to end up hurting people when you stop hurting yourself.
Yeah, it's so true. I wanted to ask you, speaking of forgiveness, you know, a lot of times people, in terms of forgiveness, it's easy for people to, it's not easy for people, but it's easy. It's less challenging for someone to be able to forgive someone who's still alive, right? Like, let's say you wrong someone, you can physically go talk to them if they're still alive. But if they've passed on and you were like you were a son or a daughter that neglected your parents, or you were, someone who did something to someone and never got a chance to forgive them, and now they're gone, what would you recommend for someone in those cases?
What I'd recommend is that they're not gone. They gave up their bodies, but spiritually they're still alive. Go to a quiet place, and if you want to call a prayer, meditation, or a talk, and talk to them, and really talk to them. Go to a quiet place and do that. Go for a quiet walk into the bush and talk to them, and understand something, that they gave up their bodies and they're on a whole new plane and another adventure, and it would never cross their minds that you even owed that to them. But you have to understand, Justin, that it's not going to be good enough to try to get forgiveness from somebody who passed on, because it's actually society that created this guilt. So we need to work with the belief of guilt in the person to be able to get rid of that. you're never going to be able to get the person to sometimes pray enough or ask for forgiveness from their father, their mother, or whoever passed on. We have to work with the belief system of guilt that's been given to you. Well, first of all, when you get here, you're a little spiritual being. And then by the time you're 7, you're as dysfunctional as all get out because of your parents. Because parents are dysfunctional. You know that. Most parents never have ever done any self-work. How many parents go, you know what? If I could teach myself self-love, self-care, then, I'm going to pass that on to my child and they're going to honor themselves. It's all about honoring yourself. We're talking about being selfish to the point that you're honoring yourself so that you can teach others how to honor themselves. We're talking about being self-centered, otherwise centered in yourself enough to realize what's going on and that you are the speaker system for your children, for your friends, for your family. You're the guiding light. And you have to stand true to yourself and be brave, because people fear change. And if you can stay true to yourself long enough that even to be attacked emotionally or verbally by your friends and family when they see you changing, then eventually that will help them make the change as well. It's like parents, they have alcohol in the house, but when the child comes home and he's been drinking or he's been drinking in the car, it's difficult. You can't, I just won't do that. When I realize that there can be no alcohol in the house when I have teenagers, because I'm telling them they can't drink, but then I'm keeping, the candy jar right at their reach. So, you know what? Take a look at your life. Take a look at how you can become a guiding light. And if you can't love yourself enough to do it for yourself, then start doing it for those around you and then see the beautiful change that comes on.
Yeah, it's for me, it's a challenge too, because there's so much for me to do with this show. And I mean, you've got a thriving practice. You've been doing this. You have programs and courses and all this stuff. But sometimes even for me, like I've noticed that in the alternative health world, a lot of people become workaholics, or just really in any profession, they work. But for me, it's like there's enough work for me to work for, weeks and months on end, 8 hours, 24 hours a day and all of that. So a lot of times, sometimes shows don't get published or things don't happen or things fall through the wayside because I have chosen to do my sauna, my rebounder, all these different things that I do every day. And sometimes work just takes second fiddle to those things. But I just feel like if I'm not living it, then how can I tell other people to do that?
Well, you just contradicted yourself, because telling people that your show may not always be on time because you're going to honor yourself and your family first is the most important message you can give them. So trying to make sure that your show is on time is really getting into more of a superficial, that one statement would help to empower me more, that you're going to put you first and your family first, and is going to be very powerful. Yeah, I know a lot of the people in alternative medicine, they're like that. But Ty, he's got a huge plate, but I will tell you something right now. If you see Ty, and I know Ty personally, Ty Bollinger, and I'm telling you, he has a balanced family life. He has a beautiful love life. Now, mine is the same, but I'm going to tell you something. My partner, Lori, and my children, they know that they couldn't be loved anymore, and that when they need me, I am there. And that, this is my passion. This is my love. This is what makes my vibration soar. I have only begun to rock this show. It's, that's it. This is what I love to do. And when you're not loving what you love to do, then that means the show needs to be late because there's something else that needs to be fulfilled. And remember something. The universe knows better for you, Justin, than you know for yourself. So whenever you honor honor yourself, Justin, the universe will come back to you 100-fold, because that's just universal law. There is no other law.
Yeah, I mean, you're showing through your actions and your belief systems that you want to be here, right?
Yes. Well, you know, like I offered to the whole nonprofit cancer community that they could come for my training. So, you know, and I wanted to be able to do it like in the next couple of weeks, but I'm going to have to wait for 2 months. And so I'm not worried that, you know, somebody's going to be upset with me. You know, if I do what's best for me, I will be doing what's best for them. What we get caught in our head is that we always need approval, Justin. And guess what? I got to tell you something, Justin. I don't need your approval. And I'm not going to take anything personal that you have to say about me. So, but I absolutely nobody's approval. So, and I'm not going to look for your approval either.
Yeah, you know, I just love that whole thought process, because ultimately what gets me excited is that when I first got into natural health and natural healing, it was because of my mom's cancer diagnosis. Her body was diagnosed with cancer in 95. And that's what got me involved in all of this stuff. But ultimately, if you keep following the rabbit down the trail or down the hole, it becomes a spiritual pursuit, and it becomes a spiritual practice, and changing your belief systems and your thought, and the spiritual turnaround and the spiritual growth and all of that stuff has changed me more than, you know, I did a raw food diet for 7 years, and I've changed and done different diets, but ultimately it's a spiritual quest, and it's an emotional, personal growth, personal development kind of a thing. And that's where, for me, that's what gets me excited is growing as a person, not necessarily what kind of diet people eat, because, you know, that's always, you know, something that can be changed.
Well, you know, I don't know. Everybody's got their own views, but I believe that, you know, I've been alive forever and I will live forever. And, you know, being a physical human on this planet, we're only here for a very, very, very short period, so that we can experience all these different things: light, dark, hate, love, short, tall, hot, cold, that we can experience the flavors of different foods. People are so wrapped up in food and the flavors of them. And a lot revolves around it. I mean, basically what I say to people is, you know, this is an earth experience. We come down here to eat and poop. We want to experience all of it. Right. So, you know, and, the thing is that what everybody needs to understand is that we've been duped very badly. And that the world is not going to end, and nobody's going to come and get you. I mean, how many people, and I'm telling you right now, that the majority of the population is living in fear, and they don't even know what from, on a daily basis. I mean, people are having near-death experiences in their mind continually throughout the day. And these are all these belief systems. And that's, I'm going to tell you something. It's got to be around the 95, 98% marker that most people are living a really terrifying life. And they don't even know what they're terrified anymore.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Yeah, they don't even know. They're so detached from themselves. Oh,
and, you know, and Justin, remember something, the golden rule: whatever you focus on the most, you will become. So right now, cancer, you know, and, I mean, you know, my daughter the other day, you know, and even though she's my daughter, you know, she's got this thing on her head and she goes, I hope it's not cancer, Dad. You know, it's just like, boom, there's where your mind goes. So see, they won. They won. The corporations won. The media won. They all won. So I truly believe the only way that you can even find peace and joy is that if you totally disconnect from society as much as possible, totally disconnect.
I agree. I completely agree, because what you're getting when you get all of that programming and weird information is just more fear, more propaganda, more lies, all of these things. And That's one of the reasons why I've never owned a cell phone. I will not do that. Is, for the longest time, people have been trying to get me to get one and all this stuff, but I cannot be connected, to when I'm not working, I'm not at the computer, I'm doing whatever, I'm focused on whatever I'm focused on. I'm not consuming that stuff on the go. I just can't do it.
I understand. And you know what? We need to do the things that will honor us, and that will be different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we got a question here from Hans through Facebook. He wants to know about, let's see, I think he's from another country because it's a little difficult. He says detoxification with chlorella and spirulina can cause some problems if you can't get especially heavy metals out of the body. What about zeolite?
Zeolite is a good product. I wouldn't go with zeolite though.
You would?
No, I wouldn't. No, I would be looking at humic and fulvic acid. They're amazing. And but the thing is that and when I say this, I mean this in the best way possible. But most humic and fulvic acid, to actually break them down into small particles, they use toxic chemicals. And the people that we get our humic and fulvic acid from are the only patent company in the world that actually have a humic fulvic acid that uses no chemicals. It's totally non-toxic. And it actually crosses the blood-brain barrier. Have him take a look at that, because there's the cat's meow. It doesn't get any better than that. And the other thing is that, you don't have to be worried about heavy metals and toxins, if you don't want to live on a really busy traffic street. Uh-huh. And the other thing is make sure that you're drinking structured water and enough of it. Gentle daily cleansing. That's why we use the daily cleansing tea every day. You know what? Why wouldn't we want to gently cleanse every day? I'm not talking about a laxative here. I'm talking about, with our daily cleansing tea, it supports all the detoxification organs. It supports them. It doesn't whip them. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, between your diet and between other things, you can really reduce things. Lifestyle is how you reduce everything. Mm-hmm. That's how you do it on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. But I would not go with zeolite. And there's other reasons why I wouldn't go with zeolite. But I would be looking at humic and fulvic acid. That's where people want to really look at.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the late great Hal Huggins, Dr. Hal Huggins, always said in terms of detoxification, as long as there's more going out than what's coming in, then you're doing good. So I thought that was cool. I wanted to ask you though too about, what about zeolite? A while back, a couple years ago, I think Mike Adams did a bunch of reports on zeolite, and so I sort of stopped taking it. But is that something that people need to be concerned about?
What's that? About zeolite?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go near zeolite because it's suspicious. It is.
Okay.
I wouldn't go. There's a lot of things out there that are not regulated, and they're not regulated properly. You have to understand, and I don't mean to be like this, but, when it comes to people's health, we need more regulations that we're not going to get in certain areas, and we need to be deregulated in areas that are stopping us from performing properly. Mm-hmm. So, yes.
Yeah, good stuff. We've got another question here from Joseph, and he says he's interested if anyone knows about the relation to carbonic gases in our body with inflammation, oxidation, and disease. I'm also curious about the role of colonics can play in this in terms of alleviating harmful gases. Interesting.
Well, okay. Well, let's take a trip to the local farmer. Okay. So let's go to your local farm and take a look in the back of the barn, and we're going to see a manure pile. Uh-huh. Now take a pitchfork and dig into it and flip it over. You're going to have all kinds of gases coming off of that. So we know that stagnation is not the key. So the more that you stagnate waste in the body, the more harmful gases are going to be created in the body from the toxic bacteria, because bacteria fart. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they also, different things will also throw up inside of you, like different types of parasites. Mm-hmm. So, and they go to the bathroom in you. So the thing is that we want to relieve ourselves of the stagnation. Now, I ran the North American Institute for the Advancement of Colon Therapy for 14 years. So we used to do a lot of teaching with colon therapy, and I think colon therapy is a marvelous tool. If you get somebody who doesn't want to change any part of their diet, okay, I would tell them that they need to go for colonics on a regular basis, because they won't become healthier, but they won't become as sick as fast. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, if somebody's really jammed up and blocked, I would then tell them that, they could use colonics to get the cork out of the wine bottle. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing. But, for somebody like yourself and somebody like myself in our lifestyles, we don't necessarily need that supportive tool of colonics, but most of the population could use one. Mm. So, and then the other thing is that some people rely on colonics, which you don't want to rely on colonics, because you want to rely on doing proper core exercising and then eating proper whole plant-based foods that will ferment by the time they get to your large intestine to create the good bacteria. And remember something, when your bacteria are happy, so are you, Justin. When your bacteria become bad bacteria, they become miserable. And so do you. So we know that actually bacteria have a direct influence on our emotions. Mm-hmm. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah.
Tanya says here from Facebook, Tanya Crispin, she says, we need water to detox, but why is structured water a must according to Dr. Wolfe?
Okay, well, structured water is a must for me. It'll only be a must for people when they do their homework. So mm-hmm. What is rainwater? Rainwater is structured water. Now, okay, so somewhere, something who created this world decided that rain should be structured. So when the rain comes down, Justin, even though it might be acid rain, do you ever notice something? The trees, the bees, the birds, the plants, everything still jumps for joy. Now, how's that when the rain's toxic?
Yeah, it's bizarre, right? It must be because it's structured, or it's natural, or...
Well, it's structured. That's why our ancestors drank rainwater, fast-moving rivers, and waterfalls. That's what they drank their water from. And by doing that, you get structured water. Now, I can tell you right now that, people don't want to believe this, and they can't get this concept. But I will tell you that we have people all over the world that buy our structure units. They don't have any moving parts. They take no electricity. They have no filters. And when the water goes through, it vortexes the water in all directions at the same time, creating a vortex that causes the water to have very low molecular size, mm-hmm. and brings it down to about 6 molecules. So it can actually go in and out of your cells more efficient than any other water we know of on the planet. So if you drink water, what's the objective is to get it into your cells to take the nutrition in and get the toxins out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So don't give me all this other hoopla about all these expensive equipment and $10,000 units and all the maintenance that you do. And you know what? Did you ever notice that society always wants us to jump hurdles and swim across the river, climb the mountain, or else we can't have what we want? And I'm telling you that the most simplest, easiest, fun-loving things are the most powerful things. Mm-hmm. Whenever you're doing something and it's like totally rigorous, then I would tell you that you're being lied to, or when it's totally expensive.
Right.
So structured water gives you low surface tension, and it gets rid of, are you ready for this? So if you drink a filtered water, I don't care how much you paid for the filters, the actual frequency and the vibration of any chemical is still in that water unless it was structured. So if you want to filter your water, I say yes, filter your water, but structure it to get rid of and erase any of those negative frequencies from pharmaceuticals, toxic poisons, anything viral, bacterial, get rid of it. Because water's like, have you ever done homeopathics? You can do a liquid homeopathic that has nothing in it except the vibration, and it actually makes changes on the human body, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's powerful.
Well, what do you think structured water is? Structured water is a homeopathic. So what we want to do is erase that which is not good for us on that vibrational level. And also, even if there is a toxin, physical toxin in structured water, it is actually creates a vortex around it. And if it goes into your body does not recognize it.
Fascinating stuff. And you offer these filters on your website?
Yes, we do.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, Joseph wants to know if using an herb like senna is using a mechanism to create a vacuum in the stomach to draw out gases, or could it lower the gas pressure buildup in the stomach? Many agree that disease starts in the stomach, so would senna be beneficial? I've never really used senna, but...
Well, first of all, when it comes to the stomach, we're not talking about senna. Senna mainly works on the last part of the small intestine and the large intestine. And understand something, disease starts when your large intestine backs up waste into your small intestine. And that's where autoimmune disease comes from, which is the inflammation that everybody is living with today in their bodies. And it's the inflammation and the toxic particles that are being leaked into the bloodstream, because the small intestine, we call them tight junctions. They come apart, and then you start taking in molecules that are foreign to the bloodstream, and then your body goes into attack it with antigens. And then what happens is we get autoimmune disease where these particles will attach themselves to different organs in the body, and then your body attacks those particles but ends up attacking your tissue, and that's what autoimmune disease is. And senna is the laxative of the herbal kingdom, which I would never take. I have seen people take senna, and where they've taken it for a long time, it will totally destroy the motility and the peristalsis in your intestine. It's like whipping a tired horse.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow, fascinating stuff. One final question from Eva from Facebook, and I want to ask you about your Braveheart course and the stuff that you have going on your website. Eva says, I told people on our Facebook wall to try to keep the questions short, because a lot of times when people say, "Oh, a doctor's coming on the show," they'll write out paragraphs, and I just can't read all that. So her question is unfortunately maybe a little bit too short. She says, "Does milk thistle work?" So I'm assuming that she's maybe thinking about the liver or something like that, milk thistle.
Well, we have that in our daily cleansing tea. And that works on the liver, yes. Okay. And that is a really lovely product to use. And today we know that, where do you think chronic fatigue comes from, and fibromyalgia? That's when the liver becomes exhausted and toxic. Yes.
Okay. Good stuff. Yes. Good stuff. Okay. So this, tea that you're talking about, and the Braveheart program are all both on docofdetox.com. Is that right?
Well, yeah, the daily cleansing tea is mainly on docofdetox.com. And there is information on the Braveheart and the whole life coaching course and on my deep tissue course on Doc of Detox. But if they want to get really into the information, they would go to ITIOH.com, which stands for International Training Institute of Health. ITIOH.com. Okay, I'll put a link to that on our page. ITIOH.com. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that Braveheart. Now, are your courses available all the time, or do they become available and then go away for a period of time, or how does that work?
No, our courses are available all the time.
And so we have
because they're popular.
Yeah.
So they don't go away, So we have a whole team here that to be able to train these courses, and we actually host around the world. Oh, wow. Like we're doing Ireland in May, we're doing Greece next September. We have Mexico coming up. So there's places where people go, well, we've got 12 practitioners, or we've got 12 people that want to learn your course, or take the Braveheart course, or to take the Wolfe Deep Tissue course. So then we actually go to the country instead of having all, because a lot of countries will go, we'll have you come here instead of us go there. So
I see.
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff going on in your website. So I see you've got like a physical store with a bunch of cool products, physical products people can buy, but then you also have the courses as well. That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, just know this, that we can take products forever and ever, but once we actually start training ourselves to become the masters of our mind, emotions, and body, then you can reduce the products you take, and you can see, we can change. We can change as fast as we want to change. You can change instantly. Okay, let me say this much. Everybody's different. Did you ever notice, Justin, that you could have like 5 people in the family, and then the same thing happens to all 5 of them, and one person jumps off a cliff, the other one goes home to get drunk because he can't deal with it. The other one goes and goes and eats a bunch of marijuana brownies, and the other one just stays angry for 2 months, and then the other one says, wow, what can I learn from this? Yeah. And I need to honor myself, and I need to stay in my breath, and I need to be able to take action and move forward with this. We will punish ourselves for things we're not responsible for. And just like when someone dies in our family, we have all this guilt, all this remorse. And if you take a look at a majority of the cancer patients, you will find that a lot of them, someone died in their life a year or 2 earlier. Okay. All right. Or they had a trauma like a divorce, or something happened like that. So, being able to stay in your breath and honor and respect yourself, Justin, is like the hugest thing. But you know what? Self-love. Are you going to be so selfish and love yourself, Justin? Well, who would do that? Right. You can't. The thing is as long as people want to go around and use their family and friends to fill up their love tank, then they're going to get hurt. And there's going to be hurt going on forever.
Yep. You got to develop these things within yourself. Cool stuff. Thanks for being on the show, Doc. A lot of cool stuff going on at Doc of Detox. So can I tell people to, one of your staff sent me the Healthy to 100 ebook. Is that something that we can make available to our listeners?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. What I'll do is I will, probably the best way, this is episode, let me make sure I get this correct because we've done a lot of shows. This is episode 502. So what I'll do is I'll put a link to that book, which is like 600 pages, Healthy to 100. If you guys want to download that at extremehealthradio.com/502. Is that the best way to do that?
Yeah, that is. But just know this, that it's also a really easy read, and it's also like a Disney book. So on half the page is a cartoon to make you alert to something. So it's a beautiful book. We put a lot of time into it, but just understand it's an easy read. It's actually written that an 8-year-old can understand it, but that medical system can't refute it, and it'll give you the take action steps that you need in your life. And also, Justin, I'd like to offer you something else. I'd like to offer your guests, and we'll send you the MP3 that you can put up, and you can give your guests for free. It's a 2.5 hour, what we might call we call it Get Emotionally Fit, and it'll help to get people started and understand what I was trying to talk about today. Oh, and if you want to give that to them for free, we'll have that sent to you right away.
Oh,
okay?
That'd be awesome. And okay, that would be awesome. I'd really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you. And it's actually, people like yourself that really make the difference here. And I know that the people that listen to you really feel blessed to have you, Justin.
Thanks so much. And thanks for the work that you do. I mean, we talk to extraordinary people, and you're one of them. And, without you doing the work, we wouldn't have, the ability to speak with you and help people out that way. So awesome stuff. So one last thing, can people contact you or work with you long distance?
Oh, that's all I do pretty well.
Oh, good.
I don't do local. We have people that fly from all over the world that stay in our spa retreat here, And then people that I do consultations by Skype and by phone and by FaceTime, but that's all I do. It's all cool. Long distance around the world.
Oh, that's so cool.
And what else was I going to say here? Oh, the other thing, but I would like to just say this. So we're getting DocStar Radio set up. So Justin, would you like to be on the show in the future, maybe in a few weeks?
Oh, I would love that. That'd be awesome.
Okay, well, I'd love to have you on our show, okay?
Oh, that would be awesome. DocStar, is that live yet or no?
Yes, it is. DocStar Radio, and what it is it's going to be, we have, I've been working on it for 2.5 years. It's called the Healthy to 100 Community, and we are going to be making it's free, but we are going to make the most powerful and self-care, self-help community that's ever existed. And people are going to be able to come in there, and we've got all kinds of videos like, we've done videos on stretching and rebounding and foam rolling and skin brushing, salt glows. And then I've got videos. I do videos every week where I have specialists come in and we video them. Like we had Dr. Ross Anderson where he went through my whole house and showed why EMF is something we need to look at. And cool. We've got so much stuff in there, and it's all going to be free. And we've got over 200 recipes, and it goes on and on.
Oh, my gosh. That is awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's being released and opened up on Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, and that's going to be, how would people find out about that?
They just go to my website, and they can sign up for free, and it's called Healthy to 100 Community.
Oh, cool. Is that .com, Healthy to 100 Community?
Well, they can just go right on to docofdetox.com.
Oh,
it's
cool.
Right
That's great. Okay. Awesome stuff. Well, thanks for your time and your energy and your powerful message and your just your whole being and what you do. Thanks for being here today.
And thank you, Justin. And I just want you to know that we're all blessed by having you.
Thanks, Doc. Hang on the line there really quickly. We're going to close out the live show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks for being a part of what we're doing here. And if you want to get access to that Healthy to 100, that'll be available at extremehealthradio.com/502, and you can download that right there. And I'll be back to do a wrap up. But thanks for listening. If you guys enjoyed this, please share it with your friends. It was very empowering and super encouraging. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If there's ever anything we can do for you, please let us know, and we'll get back to you. And we love you, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. I have been a huge fan of rebounding for many, many years. And if you want to get in great cardiovascular shape, tone your legs, back, and butt and stomach, as well as cleanse your lymphatic system from toxins and chemicals, you just have to start rebounding. It's imperative. And not only will it create endorphins that quickly become addictive to you, but it's very low impact as well. It helps to prevent sicknesses and diseases, as well as increase bone density, and it flushes toxins from your lymphatic system. It's amazing. And not only that, but it's a ton of fun also. I do it every single day for about 15 minutes. And we found the best rebounder on the market today in the world, bar none. It's called the Bellicon Rebounder. It's the Rolls Royce of rebounders, in my opinion. And let's listen to some of what our guests have had to say about rebounding. Robert von Sarbacher is a health researcher and creator of the Mini Beat Protocol. And Robert, what's your favorite exercise?
In general, probably one of the number one anti-aging exercises on the planet is rebounding. So 15 minutes a day is good for that. You can find people who have had thermography scans on cancers, giant tumors, and when they're doing a rebounder, it would start spewing out and shrinking right in front of your eyes, the tumor would, as they're on the rebounder. So it's really good for that sort of thing. It's also very good for exercising internal organs. It's the only internal organ exerciser that I know of known to man.
Dr. Lindsay Duncan is the CEO and founder of Genesis Today. And what's the best way that you think of to stimulate the lymphatic system of the body?
Rebounding is incredible because it's good for the lymphatic system, and there's more lymph fluid in the body than there is blood. And the quickest way and the most effective way to get the lymphatic system flowing is through rebounding itself.
Yeah, because the lymphatic system can't really detox itself, can it? I think
the heart, we have the heart, thank you, for pumping blood. And we don't have a heart to pump lymphatic fluid. The only thing that really can pump lymphatic fluid is cardiovascular exercise utilizing the thighs, the thigh muscles. And that's why rebounding and getting a burn in that thigh muscle is so important for the flow and the stimulation of the lymphatic fluid.
Wow, and they even put cancer patients on rebounding, don't they?
Nutritionists do.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but not a conventional doctor. But yeah, I've been learning about rebounding lately. It's quite an amazing thing.
Yeah, rebounding's amazing.
Health researcher and author of Cancer Step Outside the Box, Ty Bollinger. What do you do in your life to prevent cancer?
What do you do to treat cancer? What do you do to prevent it? Rebounding is something that I try to do on a daily basis. A little mini trampoline for those people that aren't familiar with the term rebounding, but it's basically just jumping up and down on that little mini tramp. What that does is it stimulates the lymphatic system. Lymphatic system is one of our primary detoxification systems in our body. And most folks don't stimulate their lymph flow, and so the toxicity in their body builds up because their lymph is not stimulated. And the up-down motion on a rebounder stimulates the lymph flow better than just about any other exercise. So I do that almost on a daily, probably 5 days a week, I would say I average doing that.
And finally, author and speaker and creator of the Longevity Now program, Darrell Wolfe. Do you think the Bellicon is the best rebounder on the market today?
Absolutely. I was just with the crew in Europe that does the Bellicon rebounder, which is an incredible rebounder. My God, what a machine. And it doesn't use metal springs. It uses like flexi ropes. So it's very soft and fun, and it's just great to play with.
Well, there you have it. The up and down G-force actually stimulates every single cell in your body. It's incredible. And as someone who works out in the gym a lot and does Qigong, I think that the best physical aerobic exercise, in my opinion, is rebounding. It's just absolutely incredible for the human body. And the Bellicon is silent, and it comes with a warranty, and you can get them in several different sizes and colors, and some of them have bars that you can hold on to in case you're worried about balance. It's a well worth it investment in your health and in your future. So check them out in our store if you'd like, or you can check out the videos on extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. Again, that's extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. That's B as in boy, ELLICON. All right, what do you guys think about Dr. Darrell Wolfe, the doc of detox? Pretty cool guy, huh? docofdetox.com. Pretty cool. I like what he has to say. We didn't get too much into all of his, different detoxification principles, but man, I really like what he had to say. I really felt that he was very empowering, giving people hope, changing your mindset. I think that's one of the biggest things, like we talked about during the show, man. That is huge. If you can change your entire mindset about your life and where you're going and why you should value yourself and the fact that you're here and be appreciative and do all these things and really grow from a personal development perspective, from a spiritual growth perspective, if you can really get in tune with listening to your body and valuing yourself and doing the daily disciplines that it takes to build that muscle, man, your life's going to change and it is going to be so much better. It's just, like I was saying during the show, I think it's one of the things that helps us is to sometimes we need to act without feeling on things, right? So, I mean, I'm not the best at this. I'm working on it. We're all human. We're doing our best. There are days when I can't do everything I want to do, but every day I have practices. I'll just share with you some of the practices that I do every single day. And sometimes I get to them, sometimes I don't, but the point is that it's on my sort of list to do every day. And I realize everyone's schedule is different and everyone has different ability to be able to do these types of things. But some of the things that I do every day are I do red light therapy. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but red light has an amazing benefit on the human body when it's directed towards the skin. And so what you can do is buy these chicken brooder lamps on Amazon. And I got to tell you about our Amazon thing too. I'll tell you that right now before I forget. Our Amazon link, we've been having people write in asking if we can make it easier for them to support us on Amazon, because a lot of people are saying, hey, I'm buying major purchases for my business or for myself 3 or 4 times a month. How can I do it much more easily than remembering to go to your website? So on the right hand side of our website, I just did this the other day, you'll see an Amazon banner link, and just below that there's some text. And if you drag that text onto your desktop of your Macintosh or your computer, your Windows computer, that becomes an icon. And then when you double click on that icon, the next time you make an Amazon purchase, you can rename that icon too. So just put your mouse over it and rename that. And when you do that, and you double click on that icon every single time you make a purchase, that goes through our link there on Amazon. And so, I want to thank, a listener wrote in asking about that, and I forget what your name is. Forgive me. But I want to thank you for that, for giving me the idea to do that. So just hold down your click and drag that text below the Amazon icon, on the right-hand side of Extreme Health Radio. And then you never have to remember to go to our website or think of us. Just use that as your Amazon, link on your desktop, on your computer, and then that will support us. So that's really cool. Anyway, these chicken brooder lamps, I do Qigong. I do my meditation every day. So every day I do about 10 or 20 minutes of Qigong practice. And the practice that I follow, the routine that I do is available in our store. But essentially Qigong is like a moving meditation. So it's different than regular sitting meditation because you get to visualize and go through the practice. It's like meditation and yoga combined, but it's very light and soft, and it helps to ground yourself. It's just an awesome practice. But anyway, I've been combining it with doing the red light therapy during my Qigong session. So that's one thing I do, and that's about 20 minutes a day. And then I've been doing just regular sitting meditation, and I'll shine the red light on me during that time too. And then let's see, what else do? I do a handful of I do Qigong meditation. I do it for about 15 minutes. I do my rebounder every single day. And if it's raining outside, I'll do the red light therapy while I rebound. And then when I'm doing my rebounder, I'll usually be watching like a YouTube documentary or of some kind. So I'm kind of doing 3 different things at once. Let's see, what else? I do my sauna every single day. So that's about 30 minutes a day, and I usually watch a documentary in that, and I'll do my rebounder before the sauna. But these are all just things you can do every single day, right? So one thing I've been doing lately too is I have a standing desk that I've been using every single day. I've been going off and on with it for the last few years, but a couple days after January, I decided, you know what, I've had enough of just sitting. Sitting is the new smoking. I got to stop sitting. And the problem with that is that I'm lazy with it, right? So it's the kind of standing desk that you crank. And I've often found that when I would sit, I would be too lazy to crank it and make it so it's standing. Or if I was standing, I'd be too lazy to put it down. And so I just leave it up now. And I've just been, it has been really hard on my joints, which is why I use that rapid release technology on my joints and on the bottoms of my feet. And another trick too, if you have a standing desk, here I want to tell you about this. If you have a standing desk, go to your local sports store or on Amazon if you want to go through our link. Go and buy some lacrosse balls and put those on the ground, and you can massage the bottoms of your feet while you're standing. So that's just a little tip. But anyway, I do, let's see, Qigong. I stretch. And so every, a couple nights a week, Kate and I might watch something on Netflix, and I don't sit on the couch anymore. I stretch, and I use the lacrosse ball to straighten out my muscles in my back. So I do that. I no longer sit on a couch. I've been doing the Katie Bowman thing and just getting rid of furniture and standing or sitting on the ground and that. Some other things I do, I try to read every day. I try to do all these practices every day, basically. I do breathing exercises while I do my meditation. I practice gratitude. But you know what? Some days I just don't get to any of it. Some days I'm just so busy. But I guess something else I do too is I work out 3 days a week in the backyard. I got my weights. I don't know if you guys have ever tried the Power Block. I just got some of those off Amazon. Those are those adjustable weights. And those are awesome. I really, really recommend those things, man. They're cool. So I've been using those. I have the 50-pound versions. I need to increase the weight though to maybe like 70 pounds or 80 pounds. But yeah, so I work out 3 days a week and I get grounded. I listen to podcasts, and I get sunshine into my eyes without sunglasses on. I'm grounded to the earth. I'm breathing fresh air and I'm working it out and I'm listening to cool podcasts and stuff. And so I do that 3 days a week for about an hour and a half. So those are some things. But one of the things that, I think really helps is having the ability to do some of these practices. And those are just sort of like some of the physical things. Some of the other things I do are, making a green juice every day. I make mushroom tea. I do these kinds of other things that are, more related to food and herbs and diet and things. But the more you do these things, the more you feel good that you did those things. It's a weird kind of a cycle because you realize like, okay, your next door neighbors, your family, your friends, they are going down a path and you're going down a path, right? We're all going down a particular path that we're creating for ourselves. And we can make that path be whatever we want. And that path can change based upon our belief systems and our practices. So the path can be a difficult path. It can be an easy path, or it can be both. But it can be a path that ends up shaping you like, the waves against the rocks, right? The rocks seem like they're powerful and never changing, but it's the water that changes the shape of the rocks. And so that path is going to change the shape and the direction and the course of our life. And that path is based upon, like I said, our belief systems, our values, the amount of gratitude we have, what we think about, our practices, and who we're becoming. And if we're not intentionally setting forth the kind of path we want to create for ourselves, then we let society and culture determine the direction that we're going to go. And that determines the kind of person we become, and that determines what we're able to accomplish in the world, right? So we got to figure out how to, make that path what we want it to make, or what we want it to be. And so when we put some intention on, I want to be this kind of person, I want to accomplish this kind of goal, that's great. But what is it going to take to get there? And it's going to take some sort of self-love practices and things. Here's one thing that I've no longer doing that I need to get back to is doing weekly enemas. I used to do enemas every Sunday. Something else that I would like to do is we've got this new ozone generator machine from Truly Heal. We just got one of those recently. By the way, if you want to learn more about ozone, if you go to extremehealthradio.com/ozone webinar, or extremehealthradio.com/ozone webinar replay, all one word, you'll be able to check out some of the replays of the webinars that Marcus has been doing. But anyway, I'm so busy, I haven't been able to set that up yet. And I've had it for a couple days now, and I really need to set that up. And so that's one of the things about forgiveness and just going with the flow, or as Hickson Gracie says, flowing with the go. But, it's really important to design the kind of disciplines in your life that will take you to where you want to go. It's really important to do that because everyone is just not only are they being tossed sort of to and fro in terms of their emotional state and their attitude about life because of the programming from the media, but they're also being tossed to and fro because they have no clear direction or disciplines that they're following on a daily basis that's going to allow them to be carried to the direction that they are intentionally wanting to set. So if you want to get somewhere, you have to follow a specific path. And it's that path that what's so cool about human nature is that we have the ability to determine whatever the hell kind of path we want. We can go this way or that way, up or down. We can go any way we want to go. And we get to choose. We get to decide. No one else tells us what we want to do, right? But that's what sort of the programming that we get from school, from church, from media, from propaganda, from newspapers, from commercials, all of these sort of institutionalized propaganda institutions, I guess, for lack of a better word, are telling us what we need to what is the right term? What we think should be important, right? And so that gets us off our path. It gets us off of the disciplines that we want to do and how we want to set our life up. And so it's really important. It's really, really, really important to surround yourself with good people who are also on a path that you are on. I would almost say if you are someone who has nobody in your life that is on a path like this, because, man, it's hard. Like he was saying, he rarely meets someone who's awake, right? And that's not a judgment. I mean, I guess it is a judgment, but it's not really like an indictment on someone. It's just, you don't run across, and that's what's so cool about shows like this and videos and YouTube and stuff. You can surround yourself with a digital tribe, but it still doesn't take the place of people that are in your life. But I would say it's probably more important to disassociate yourself from people for a while if you have no one in your life that is on this sort of journey and path, than it would be for you to surround yourself with people just for the sake of community, because they're going to do nothing but pull you down. They're going to do nothing but question you. Why are you doing this? How come you're not taking medication for this or that? Or how come you don't do X, Y, Z? Or what did your doctor tell you? And all this sort of programming that implies so much weirdness, right? It's just so weird. So I would say, I mean, I know it's easier said than done. This is really challenging, but disassociate yourself from people like that. Invest in yourself. Start doing some self-care practices and doing these types of things that I'm talking about. and then go back. If you want to hang out with them, you can hang out with them, or, on a limited basis. But just remember, these people it's easier to pull someone down off a path than it is for you to pull them up. And people have to become awake and aware on their own. And it's not your job to wake anybody up. It's not your job to convince someone that they need to do natural methods to help their body heal. It's not your job to tell anyone to do anything or to think a certain way. It's not your job. It's not my job. If someone like a friend or family wants to do the most horrific treatment in order for them to feel good about overcoming their, disease their body has, then I just support them. And if they know what we do, like if they know that you're into alternative health, and if they know that you're into these types of things, then it's their responsibility to ask you. And that's their soul journey. That's their path. That's their journey to awakening. And it's not up to us to force people to do things. So with that said, I really like what he was talking about in terms of a daily detox practice. I think that is friggin' awesome. I think it's really cool for us to have that mindset, because it's so indicative of American culture and Western culture, isn't it? To just completely trash your body and completely just treat yourself like garbage and eat the worst foods ever. And then once a year, do a detox cleanse. And then you do a detox cleanse, you're 3 days into a 21-day cleanse and you can't deal with it. So you give up, which supports your subconscious programming that you got growing up, which is, I'm not good enough. I can't follow through with things. Everything I do doesn't work. All of these negative programming thoughts that got put into you, it just supports that. And you probably knew going into it that that's what was going to happen, but you decided to do it because you thought, consciously you want to change, but subconsciously you're dealing with these, self-limiting beliefs and things. And so you pick a situation that will support your subconscious self-limiting beliefs, even though consciously you want to change. And so that's why I like the idea of doing something daily and just starting small, not doing these crazy cleanses. And I mean, I've got nothing against them, and I'll probably do them. I'm sure I will. But it's all about what you're doing every day to take care of yourself and to love yourself daily. And that's a practice in and of itself, regardless if you get any benefit from a cleanse or anything like that, or a Qigong session or a sauna session that we have in our store, regardless if nothing changes physically, you still know and feel proud of yourself for the accomplishment you you put into taking care of yourself, because it's effort, right? Health isn't something that you just have. It's something that you earn, especially in today's toxic world, right? We're exposed to 70,000 toxic chemicals every single day. So health is something you earn. So it's really important to build that self-esteem, and you only get that self-esteem by going through things that are challenging and that help you feel good about yourself because you went through it. That's the biggest, I think, thing for me, at least, is sometimes when I don't feel good about doing it, or I don't want to work out, or I don't want to do it, I just force myself to do it. I just say, you know what? I don't get to make a decision here. This is what I do. This is who I am. And I can't go more than a couple weeks without working out because I just start feeling weak. I start feeling like I've got that like skinny fat thing going on. You know, there's people they're skinny, but they're fat. It's really weird. You know, I'm a tall, lanky guy. I'm only 6 feet, but you know, I get that skinny fat thing going. I just can't let myself get there. I can't let myself do that. And so for me, it's just something that I do. It's part of who I am. It's something I've done since I was 19. So 22 years. I've been working out at least 3 to 5 days a week. It's just part of who I am and what I do. And I can't live with myself if I don't take care of myself. And so, like I said during the show, sometimes, you know, things get pushed to the wayside. I'm really challenging. One of the really challenges of everything I'm doing is trying to keep up with all the emails that come in and keep up with scheduling guests and adding products to our store and all this stuff. But, you know, there's probably a couple hours every single day that I spend taking care of myself. You know, if you combine 35 minutes in the sauna, 10 minutes, 20 minutes Qigong, 15 minutes meditation, you know, an hour and a half, 3 days a week working out right now, 30 minutes on the rebounder. I mean, it's a lot, right? And I walk our dogs, so I'm getting out and walking, and you know, there's maybe 4 hours a day, maybe, or I don't know, 2-3 hours a day that I spend taking care of myself. And that's not that I'm better than anybody else or anything. It's just I've slowly added these things into my life as a discipline, and now it's like it's really cool because I like doing them. I enjoy doing them. So I look forward to doing them, and so it's really cool. It's cool when you enjoy taking care of yourself, and it's not a hassle or a burden. And I think that's what Dr. Darrell Wolfe was talking about too, is making it fun and enjoyable. You feel the benefits of it, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed that show. Sorry about this long rant. But one other thing I wanted to let you guys know about. I did let you know about the Amazon link and dragging that off of the sidebar of our website. So that would help if you guys do that and then use that. The other thing I want to let you guys know too, a couple things. One is if you're listening to this during the time that we're recording it, which is mid-January 2017, in a couple weeks, starting February 1st, the sauna is going to go back up in price. It's going to increase in price. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about that, but it goes up $100. And we were able to, it's sort of on sale right now for the next couple weeks. We're able to negotiate a lower selling price right now. So we were selling it at $10.95, but we're able to sell it now for $10.30. So it's going to go up to $10.95 at the beginning of February, and then also $100. So it's going to go up like $165 starting February 1st, 2017. Unfortunately, I don't have any control over that other than being able to negotiate a $10.30 price right now instead of $10.95. So I want you guys to take advantage of that if you are interested in the sauna, because I don't like you paying more than you have to. So it's important to me that if you can get a good deal, that you get the best deal you can. And so that's what's going on there. The other thing I want to let you guys know about too is those ozone webinars are going on. I'm not sure for how long they're going to go on, but they're going on right now. It seems like every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And Marcus is teaching a class, a live webinar that you can join, and that will allow you to learn about how to use ozone therapy at home easily, cheaply, and you can buy all of the ozone equipment and everything you need except for the oxygen tank. That you have to get locally, but outside of that, you have all the instructions and how to set it up and how to do all the different protocols and all this cool stuff. And he's teaching about ozone and leaky gut, ozone and hormones, ozone and cancer, ozone, and tons of different diseases, heavy metal detoxification, and all kinds of cool stuff people use ozone for. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. Let's see, is there anything else going on that I need to tell you about? Let me look at our calendar here and pull that up. Let's go to our little calendar. Okay, so one thing I want to tell you guys too is that on our homepage, we're going to be putting up who the next guest is on the homepage. So if you go to our homepage, extremehealthradio.com, above the videos, you'll see the upcoming guest, and usually be the next day because I can't put all of our upcoming guests. So you might want to check that on a daily basis. So if you're struggling with health issues or challenges and you want to get us to ask a doctor, we will do our best to ask your question on the show. And so that will help too. And also on Facebook, if you follow us on Facebook, what I'm going to start doing, and this could be really challenging if we get a lot of questions. So the challenge is being able to ask all those questions as well as keeping the questions short. So on Facebook, before we go on with a guest, which is usually Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, I will go on Facebook and say, hey, we're going to go live with so-and-so, or not go live. We're not live anymore, but we're going to go on. We're going to record a show with so-and-so. If you have any questions about your health, or like today was detox. So if you have any questions about detoxification, ask them below and try to keep them short. And so I will do my best to but ask those questions to the guest. So if you follow us on Facebook, make sure that you go onto our Facebook page and click see first, or whatever the drop down is, so that you make sure and see all of our stuff that we're doing. And let's see, what else do we have got going on here? Tons of stuff. Okay, today's Martin Luther King Day. Is that correct? Whoa, I didn't even know that. January 16th, 2007. That's crazy. Tomorrow's Ken Rolla, and he's going to be on the show. We're going to be talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. He's a cool guy. He's the guy that created the Rest Shield Energy Pyramid, those golden pyramids that you see in our store. He's the guy behind those things. And those pyramids, you plug them into the wall, and they use a specific type of some sort of proprietary scalar wave energy to disassociate electromagnetic pollution in your home and put off good harmonic frequencies into your environment, about 10 or 20 feet off of the ends of those pyramids, which are pretty interesting things. So if you're interested in that pyramid, go to our store and you can check those out. There are those little golden pyramids there. But we're going to be talking about all kinds of cool stuff tomorrow, so I'll put that on the homepage. The other thing I want to let you guys know too is that we are starting a membership website. So it's going to be really cool. We're really excited about this. What we're going to be doing is partnering with different doctors to provide some specific content for people, and we're going to create an online community, a private membership community, where we can all make friends. Because one of the things that I have a really challenging time with is I want to connect with you guys, but I can't. There's just too many things going on, and I want to be able to connect personally with people and help people out to the best of my ability. And so what we're going to try to do is have like group cleanses and different things that the doctors can take people through a few times a year. We're going to go through and tackle individual health questions and categorize all of that stuff so you can find easily, like if you're dealing with fibromyalgia, if you're dealing with Crohn's or rheumatoid arthritis or cancer or, rosacea, psoriasis, stuff like that. We'll put them into individual categories so you can easily find answers to them. And we're going to be putting things in protocols down and all kinds of really cool things where you can get answers to your health problems or health challenges. We're going to have a community in there. I would imagine maybe someday have live events and physical events where you can come and hear people speak. And I'm really excited about helping people individually and putting this out into the community. So if that's something that's interesting to you and you want to do that, it's not for everybody because it's going to be a paid membership community. So that will be a monthly cost. A lot of people have written in saying that they were concerned about our show and if it's going to continue. So Extreme Health Radio is going to continue for sure. And that's going to continue and that's going to be all free. But when we're going to be doing more in the private community is going deeper and getting into the how-to protocols, home remedies, different protocols for dealing with any kind of health challenge. And we're going to be adding, as the months go on, all these powerful protocols for how to overcome specific things. And that's going to be more like how to. There's going to be videos in there and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's going to be more practical, hands-on stuff, less theory. But the theory is cool too. So if you want that, we'll do that as well. But we're going to have all kinds of really cool stuff in here. So we're really excited about that. And I'll put a link to that on this show page, which is extremehealthradio.com/ what is it? 502. My goodness, 502 shows. That's crazy. So yeah, we'll put a link there. And I think that's about it. If you would like to support the show, a great thing to do is, again, that Amazon link is perfect. That would be a great way. I know it's so hard. It's so challenging to remember to think about somebody else when you want to go make an Amazon purchase, isn't it? It's like, oh, I want to go and buy, buy some clothes or a bike or something, and I just go on there, right? And it's hard to remember. But if you can drag our link off the sidebar, you got to drag the text part of the link, and then use that icon. That would be huge. We really appreciate that. And so many of you guys have been doing that. It helps so much. You guys are so kind, and it's such a huge help. So we appreciate that. And for those of you that are supporting us via Patreon, you are so awesome. Thank you so much. Patreon is just a website where you can donate on a per podcast basis. So, if you want to, donate, I think right now we do like 12 shows a month roughly. So if you wanted to donate like 12 or 25 cents a show, that would be like what, $4 a month, something like that. I think my math is correct. I'm not a math guy. So, but anyway, yeah, you can just donate really small amount, $2, $3, $4, $5, $10 a month. And, if you have it, and it comes out of your account once a month, and it's just such a big help for us. So thanks to all of you that are doing that. And if you have a Facebook account, you can sign up, and it takes you literally like probably a minute and a half to do that. So we'll put a link on it's actually right on the right-hand side of our website if you'd like to do that. You don't have to, though. Our shows are always going to be free. We just want to help as many people as we can with free content, because not everyone can afford it, and so that's totally fine. But if you like the work that we do, we would appreciate it. It would be sort of a even exchange of energy there, and that would be awesome. We would appreciate that. And also, don't forget to check out our store. Lots of cool stuff. We've got the Magnetico mattress pads. We've got blenders, juicers, rebounders, sauna that I was talking about. We've got the Qigong program. We've got, all kinds of really cutting-edge, unique health tools and gadgets in there, and we're going to be adding to that over time. So next time you're going to make a purchase like of a Blendtec blender or Vitamix blender, go to our store and go through our link, and that would support us. Nothing changes on your end, but it just helps support the show. Prices are the same. You don't pay any extra. It just helps support everything we have going on. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for this, for listening and writing in and asking your questions. You guys are amazing. Love you guys so much. So let us know if we can ever help you, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease.